All right, so there's no message. There's just this. There's just what seems to be happening. And there's no mystery to it. There's nothing special about it. However, it's whole and complete. This is how perfection looks like. This is what perfection feels and what perfection thinks. It's this. This is wholeness. This is perfect as it is. However, of course, it has nothing to do with this romantic ideas of perfection that the person has, which is basically always dreaming about an experience. So the person would regard perfection as a state when it can say, yes, that's perfect. Now I can also say that it's perfect. And this blind perfection that everything is, this blind perfection that we talk about, is inexperienced. It doesn't have anything to do with these spiritual ideas or with those personal ideas of goodness and perfection according to its own ideas. Well, as I said, in the end, there's just this one idea that the person has. I have to see it. I have to be aware of perfection, or I have to feel perfect, kind of something like that. But fortunately, that's absolutely not required. It's impossible on the one hand, and it's not required at all, because this whole need for this experience, this whole need for becoming someone who sees, who's enlightened, who has arrived, who sees perfection, sees how it really is, only happens within the illusion. And the illusion is I am, I exist, I'm separate, and I'm aware. I'm awareness, and I'm aware of. So this need is completely dreamt. This need is utterly illusory. As I said, it only happens within the illusion, but there is no real need in that sense. The need to become a fulfilled me is absolutely insubstantial. It's unreal. No one needs anything. No one needs to become anything. No one needs to see anything. There's just what seems to be happening, being itself in a very ordinary way, ordinary yet harmonious way. Okay, how and why did people come up with meditation? Well, out of desperation, I'd say. That's the only thing I can imagine. So they just didn't know what to do with their me, so they invented something that occupies them or that calms them down for a while. That's what meditation basically is. I can't stand my presence, so I have to do something with me. I can't put myself in the cupboard or store myself anywhere, so I have to do something. I have to do something with myself. Can't just lie around and do nothing. I have to meditate. Of course, all spirituality, all seeking comes out of desperation. The inability to just be present, which of course no one can. I don't suggest that someone should learn that or could learn that. Yeah. I don't see another reason for meditation or for any doing. Or maybe, or maybe it was an invention of some clever people actually who didn't want to do something, and then the family members and the others said, "Do something, go to work," and then they said, "Oh no, we are not doing nothing. We are meditating." Actually, all right, so so, so come when you're finished. Bullshit like that. Okay, but those who come from a Buddhist or Hindu background and whose me is gone, how come they still recommend meditation? So I don't know anyone to whom I'd say is this message who recommends meditation. I don't know one who can still keep up this illusion or this thing. So I say there are a bunch of so-called teachers or non-dual speakers, or I don't know how they call themselves, that recommend methods, but I don't see any connection to this message, and not because they recommend methods or something. It's just the whole energetic dynamic is different, apparently. So the book series Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. How do you see this? Fantasy. It's a fairy tale. It's a nice, yeah, nice fantasy. Again, I don't see any connection to this message. But to be honest, I've only read a few bits and parts. Well, I don't see any connection with personal messages and teachings and this message in the end, because they both are what seems to be happening. But it's just, one is just within the dream of there being a person, and one doesn't recognize this dream. And the funny thing is that, of course, the person, sorry, I have to give a little speech here. So the person, or this messenger I, or Tony, is often accused of wanting to be special, of wanting to stand outside and say, well, we are not part of that. The thing is that actually every teaching claims to be special. What we talk about here is very ordinary, and it doesn't recognize any specialness. And it's also no specialness through the back door. That would be a misunderstanding. It's not special to not be special. So it's not meant like that. But of course, every teaching would imply that. Every teaching shouts, do this, follow me, this is the answer. There's this special method, there's this special technique, there's this special path to your special fulfillment. So of course, what we talk about here seems very different, and it seems as if it consciously separates itself from all the teachings. It's really not meant in that way. The teachings and the teachers and the disciples and the seeker do that by themselves. They say we are separate and we are on a special path and we are special, and the guru is special and his method is special. Not to call it divine or whatever. It's all divine in that sense. Sitting here, being on the toilet, thinking too much. It's all what seems to be happening. Do you think we need the illusion of the individual experience in order to be able to actually experience something? Well, that's the same thing. The experience of the individual is experiencing, the illusion of experiencing, and it's not needed. It's just not needed. It's a dream. It doesn't happen, and it's not needed. Of course, the person gives itself this artificial value, thinking, well, it's important that I experience, and what would the world be without me experiencing it? What would the universe do without me experiencing it? How could it be happy if I wouldn't recognize its vastness and stuff? So experiencing is the dream, and it's not needed at all. Okay. I think if you had grown up in a Buddhist background and meditated yourself every day for 30 years, and you'd been bashing in all these concepts every day, and one day the eye would have fallen away, you'd have assumed it had something to do with all that stuff, just like you talk that way today, because that's how Tony did it back then. Okay, well, I think there was a bit, I didn't get it all, or maybe I have a brief idea on what you mean. Oh, no, okay, now I got it. No, not at all. Not at all. Because liberation is the turning out that there isn't anyone on a path, and that it clearly had nothing to do with the seeking that happened before. Otherwise, it wouldn't be liberation. So if you have liberation and then go on thinking it happened because you did this and this and this, then it wouldn't be liberation. I'm sorry. No discussion here. No, because liberation is the exact turning out that the seeking and the seeking dynamic is the only illusion, and that it just kept the me imprisoned into being me. So I'd rather say this is impossible. What happens after this illusion of I is dropped? What happens with the life we are living right now? Or just with this, what seems to be happening? It feels like what then? Exactly. The good news is that in liberation, the one who asks what then also isn't anymore. So then there is no life to spend. There is no time to get through afterwards, because there's just no one there anymore. So there's no one left who can ask itself, okay, what am I going to do with life now? Because life would just be what apparently happens, but it doesn't have to, there is not the need anymore to somehow do something with it, or the possibility to do something with it, or the need to spend time, the need to do something with it. That's where the question comes from, what then? What am I going to do then? Oh, no, whatever. There is no one. There's no answer. All right, so there's no message, there's no teaching, there is no one, there's absolutely no suggestion. What happens, what seems to be happening is all there is. It doesn't contain a message, it doesn't suggest anyone, it doesn't speak to anyone. This one, this I am, doesn't have any substance at all. And these whole ideas and beliefs that come out of this impression, I'm separate, I have to do something, there is a goal, there is something to realize, there will be some kind of realization at some point in the future. This is just purely dreamt. It's this. This is the natural reality. This is the uncaused and inexperienced natural reality. It won't get better. Thank you very much for joining. I wish you a lovely day.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to see you. Thank you.